Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here. Of course, it's a Thursday and it's 5 p.m. London, and which is 9:30 India. And this is the time we engage with people of Indian religions, which is, of course, mainly from India. But of course, we have a very huge Indian diaspora across the world. It'll be lovely to interact with them too. Plus, if there are any non-Indians who follow some Indian religion for some reason, it'll be lovely to engage with them too. So that's the goal for today. I can see that Sister Unique is already there. It's lovely to see Sister Unique there. She is, of course, um, a friend of the work that we do, and she manages the chat. So you better be in good terms with her. Of course, we are Christians, so always want to be reasonable. We want to have a good interaction with people who are here. We have brother Bharat. Lovely to see you there, and everyone else. Good to speak to you. Good to see you. Good evening to all of you. Most of you who are based in India. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to begin with a prayer and then explain the format for today. Father, we come before your throne of grace. Lord, we thank you for this time. Lord, we ask that you'd help us, especially precious Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for the fact that you gave your own self on the cross for us. Without your help, without your sacrifice on the cross, we are all going to perish forever. There is no hope whatsoever. At the end of this life, there is going to be judgment, and our destinies are going to be not pleasant. That's not what you want for us. And therefore, you came in and you laid your life down for us on the cross. Lord, we hope and pray that through your Spirit, Lord, that even today, even as we interact with many people of Indian religions, that there might be opportunities where people might see the fact that only in Jesus Christ there is eternity. Without Jesus Christ, there is no hope of eternity. Any other idea is a speculative idea, not representative of God. So please help us, Lord, for us to communicate this clearly today, and for there to be friendly conversations, bring many people on board, and help us have friendly conversations. Thank you for today. Comment this time in your hands. Let your name be glorified. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Our loving Heavenly Father. Amen. Amen. Cool. Lovely to be here. Thank you very much. I see a few different friends. Of course, that's the guidelines for those who are going to be on the chat. Some of you might have been following our stream, following our channel for a while. For those who haven't been, just a brief introduction. I am a Christian. The panel here today, of course, it's just me who is showing up, of course, with my daughter, lovely daughter. But on other occasions, a few other brothers or sisters might show up on the stream. We are all Christians. We are Bible-believing Christians. We believe in the fact that God of the Bible is the only true, verifiable God. He is the creator. He created us all, but we have wandered away from him in various different ways. And while doing that, we have also rebelled against him in a few different ways. And therefore, today, God can't really allow us to be with him in eternity, because in a manner, we are rebellious people. And here is where the fact that Jesus came in is very important. Jesus came into this world to lay his life down for us. Because although God loves me and loves you, God also is just, and he is perfect. He is holy. Without perfection, no one can be with him. Otherwise, heaven would be an eternity of mess. And so God wants me and us all to be perfect. He loves me but he wants perfection, he wants justice. And here is where Jesus went to the cross for all of us, for you and for me. Without Jesus Christ being on the cross, none of us have eternity with God. But because Jesus Christ has gone to lay down his life on the cross, today, if we go to him and ask him sincerely to help us out, Jesus Christ is able to help us all out. That's the Christian message. That is what we preach. That is going to be our conclusion, even in these conversations. But having said that, what we want to do is, while we'd like to invite people of Indian religions to come on board, whether it's Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism, or whatever else, we'd like for you to come on board. We'd really like to give you a friendly platform for you to explain how your religions are very old. There is this common perception in India that Hinduism was the very first religion in India, and all those sorts of stuff, original to India, native to India, and so on. I'd really like to challenge that view, because in my analysis, I do not think this is the case at all. But at some stage in the future, through God's grace, I'd be producing some material to bring details out to establish that Hinduism of today is actually foreign in origin, and that it is late in origin, nothing to do with native way of looking at God in the ancient times. So here is where I'd really want to engage with people. Would like to give a friendly platform for my precious friends, fellow Indians, to have a detailed conversation in this regard. Cool. That's the background. Now we had a lovely friend who joined us last week, who has come to the backstage already. It'd be lovely to get him on board rather soon. Please give me a couple of minutes, Mr. Prabhakar. Let me just set the stage properly in terms of the format for today, and then we can get the conversation going. So this is the background. I was originally going to discuss essentially being able to date literature, Indian literature, to a very old, to a time which is maybe 5,000, 10,000 years BC. That is going to be the general topic of conversation today, although with a gentleman who was there with us last Thursday, I had fixed a conversation. I had fixed a date and time to discuss. Essentially, I think I asked the question of how does one essentially be convinced or be confident that Sanatan Dharma actually is from God or is representative of God. How to arrive at a place where we can have confidence in that. So that was going to be the conversation with the gentleman who has already come to the backstage. So what I'll do is just one more minute of making sure we have everything in place, and then we'll get there. Sister Unique is right there. If anyone wants to join the stream at some stage to speak, to present a case, the link is at the top of the live chat. Cool. Now what I'll do is I'll also get the regular schedule scrolling through the bottom right now. Mondays, Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, and all those sorts of stuff, which we don't consider to be biblical Christianity. And so the title for Monday is Unbiblical, quote unquote, churches, to scrutinize their worldview. Tuesdays, Judaism of various different forms. Wednesdays, Islam. Thursdays, first session is what's happening right now. Indian religions, especially Hinduism. But we have a second session, and that's why this session would just be around 2 hours. The second session would be on atheism and agnosticism. And Friday, it'll be Christianity under scrutiny. So anyone who has any question on Christianity, tomorrow is the day. Normally, every session, it's 8 p.m. London time, which is 12:30 Indian time. But only this session, because of the time difference with India, we have decided to have it at 5 p.m. so it's convenient for many of my fellow Indians to jump on board. Cool. So that's the rough schedule. What I'd like to do right now is get Mr. Prabhakar on stage to discuss this discuss the topic at hand. Hello, how are you doing?
Good evening, Arul. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, by God's grace, doing wonderful. Has been a week.
Yeah,
How has the week
yeah,
been?
yeah.
All right.
Going in the Lord's name. Fine.
Okay. Okay. And work and everything, family, everyone fine.
Yes, yes. Fine, fine, fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is I can see there is another gentleman who has joined the stream in the backstage. What I'd really like to do um, is maybe what we'll do is we'll try maybe half an hour. Normally I do 20 minutes, but if we do half an hour, if we aim for half an hour, and it's lovely to have you here. We had a nice conversation last week, I think. Um, if we can focus on this topic of, so last week we discussed about gurus, about literature such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Vedas, or whatever else. So literature separate, gurus separate, and if you want to bring in any other idea separately, that's fine. But between the collection of these, the books, the literature, the teachers, the people, and who, whatever else you want to bring in, how do we know if they are representing God? That was the special topic with us. So I maybe I'll let you begin and explain. Maybe have a free flow sort of presentation, maybe for 5 minutes or something, and then we'll try. I'll try to come in to have a conversation with you, if you see what I mean.
Thank you, Arul. Other thing, last week itself, I explained. Again, I will tell you, the knowledge is being transferred in a descending process. It is given to all qualified person who is a representative of Lord in the line of disciplinic succession. It is called parampara system. From guru to disciple, it comes down all the way. So this knowledge is very sacred. And for common people, some other things like praying to God, it's not allowed. But if you want to escape from this cycle of birth and death, that is to come out of from this material entanglement, we need a spiritual master or authorized guru or spiritual master who comes in the line of disciplic service. So from him, we can acquire knowledge by service and surrender and be engaged in that one. Then automatically that knowledge will be gradually revealed to the person. Simultaneously, guru is nothing.
Apologies, Mr. Prabhakar. Unfortunately, I think there is a communication problem. Your voice was breaking so far. Now I can see that we've completely lost you, although I can still see you in the backstage. Your video is completely black, and there is no audio that we are receiving. I mean, just for just so that's what's happening with Prabhakar. I know this. I hate everything. I just lies through his teeth. Don't know why he does that, but um, we'll give. Okay, he is he's now not on the backstage. Also, I'm assuming he'll be able to jump on board again, and we can give him a couple of minutes. But bear in mind, the question I'm asking is not describe. Describe. Okay, he's back. Hello. Hello? 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 Um, still seems to be some technical issue. He has come back, but for some reason the signal isn't good, so I can't hear him. I can now see a snapshot of him.
Hello, I'm able to
Hello,
hear
yes.
you.
Now, but
There's a problem in the network.
yeah. So I think even when you started, even when I could hear you earlier, it was sort of not perfect. It was sort of 80%, I'd say. Even now I can see you're frozen again. Sure. For those who are watching, I mean, let's try and see if he's able to get back. But going by the looks of things, perhaps this evening, perhaps he might have some network issue. We might have to wait for him a bit later, or next week. But anyway, the question, yes, the yes, I understand roughly the idea suggested as part of this Sanatan Dharma, for example. I understand the idea suggested that, hey, you know what, these gurus are people who know, and they have, through generations, they have received some insight, and they can communicate, and at some stage, some of them wrote down literature such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, and so on. Whether it's historical or not, that's a different story, but at some stage these things were written down, and you're supposed to listen to these people to figure out how to lead your life. That's the idea. But the question I'm asking is not that. I'm not asking any of you to describe what the religion is, what the claim of the religion is, but I'm rather asking you to give me a reason why any of us should be convinced that this is representative of Creator God. And that's the challenge. That's the question. Hello, Mr. Prabhakar. I can see you back, but I still don't see video. I'm assuming you still might have some technical difficulty there. All right. I think there is a technical difficulty with Mr. Prabhakar. Let me. There is another gentleman who is in the backstage. John, I look at the stories of your own religion. I know, and I really want to speak into this idea. I know there is a general tendency among Indians too, and especially among Indians, and I want to respond to this, where the idea is, hey, speak only about your religion. Don't speak about my religion. To me, that doesn't make sense. We are fellow human beings. Many things in this world we share. We share general knowledge. We share medical knowledge. We share political knowledge. We share all sorts of things. We discuss all sorts of things. Suddenly, only when it comes to the most important thing, which is eternity with God, if you require some sort of immunity, some sort of a immunity where no one can comment on your religion, it's absurd, it's primitive, it's backward, and it shows essentially a lack of confidence in your own ideas. And therefore, may I please comment to the gentleman John Bahadur, please, my dear friend, you don't live an isolated life in this world. Try and do the same. Try and tell people, hey, you know what, medical science I don't want to use. Hey, this clothing, I didn't produce this clothing, so don't tell me, give me this clothing at all. Please don't do this. This is not how we live our lives. People have to scrutinize. People will have to be open about their worldviews, and we'll need to be able to scrutinize so we can try and find out what is truth. And therefore, please help us have a friendly environment in doing this. Let me try. Hello, Mr. Prabhakar. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, but I think today he has an issue with technology. Long story short, my dear friends, my dear Indian friends, I think Chon Bahadur, your name sounds perhaps Nepali. If you're from Nepal, lovely to have you here. Would really like to have a friendly environment for all of us to discuss. But can I please suggest to all of you, it'll be lovely for us to critically scrutinize our religions between us human beings as friends. I am a Dutch Hindu. If you are a Dutch Hindu, it'll be lovely to have a conversation with you. Bahadur certainly sounds like a bit Nepali in origin, but it'll be lovely to have a conversation with you. Cool. While I think it'll be a bit of a struggle to maybe get Mr. Prabhakar on stage today. I can see that he is trying multiple times, but I think the trend seems to be that okay, now I can see him. Let's see. Hello.
Yes, Arul. I can hear
Hey,
you.
now you're back. Now I can see you and I can hear you.
But I can't see you. I can hear you.
Okay. If you're able to hear me, maybe that's lovely. Please go ahead.
Same thing. What I was telling.
Yeah.
This knowledge has to be acquired through spiritual master in the line of parampara, that is succession. So when we have an access to this bona fide succession, that is parampara, then the knowledge will be imparted to the deserving candidate.
Lost him again. Lost him again. Cool. I think what I'll do is I'll try and see if the next gentleman is here. Dylan Nirmal Hickey, are you available? I can't see you seated in front of your computer now, but I saw you earlier sitting here. Not sure if you're still here, but if you're here, please give me a wave, and it'd be lovely to hear from you. I can clearly see that you are European, Dylan Hickley, but you seem to have an Indian middle name. So I'm assuming you are some sort of a convert. So it'll be lovely to have a conversation with you, but I can't see you right now. Yeah, it'll be lovely. I mean, while we are waiting, I can see that Mr. Prabhakar is struggling to join. I can't see him. I can see him join the stream again, the backstage again, but I can't see his video. So I'm assuming he's still not connected. He is. I can't see him or hear him. Dylan Hickey, it'd be lovely to speak to you if you're available, but I can't see you seated on the chair. I'm assuming you've logged in and gone somewhere else. But if you are here, please give me a wave from where you were earlier. Now, என்ன சொல்லுவேன் என்ன வேணும் என்ன வேணும் பாப்பாக்கு cool. Now wire எடுக்கக்கூடாது wire தொடக்கூடாது. Okay, cool. Apologies, this is what happens with a 5 p.m. stream. I still have the we have 2 babies. This is my first one, 2 years old. My second one is 2 months old, and my wife is busy taking care of the 2-month-old baby. So I don't want to I don't want it to be overstressed, so I take this one. Kuti ammata poriya? Ammata porana po. Huh? No. Okay. All right. Now I think Mr. Prabhakar is going to struggle. I can see him join the backstage again, but I can still see that his video isn't coming through. So I think that's not going to work out today. I'd like to see if anyone else wants to join. Hello, Dylan. Are you able to hear me? Hello, Dylan. Okay, I can't hear you. So I think you're not sitting at your desk right now. The way for those who want to present a case in relation to how Hinduism or any other Indian religion is actually presenting information from God, of course, one of the main aspects, the first aspects to be established is that it comes from God. And in this regard, if you're able to jump on the stream, take any of the literature you have, Ramayana or Mahabharata. I can see Chon join. Lovely to see you, Chon. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let me actually bring you on stage. Hello, Chon. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
By God's grace, I'm okay. Please pronounce your name for me. How do you pronounce your name? Chon?
The Chon is my father's name. My name is Shailes.
Shailes,
Shailes Bahadur. I comment you many times on YouTube.
I can't remember. Shailes Bahadur is how you go by on YouTube. Okay, I'll watch out for that. I can't remember, but it's lovely to see you here. So, but you're saying you're a Dutch Hindu.
I am born here in Netherlands, but still my religion.
Okay, for 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, I think my baby removed you briefly. Sorry, come again. You were born in Netherlands and?
Yeah, and my religion is Hinduism. I grew up with many religions here in the Netherlands. I know a little bit of the Islam. I know a little bit of the Christianity. And I grew up with Hinduism. And
so
I have my own opinion about religion.
Yeah. So in terms of ethnicity, are you where is your ancestry from?
India.
India, okay. Okay, lovely. And that's where, of course, you get your last name from, Bahadur.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Shailesh, it's lovely to see you today. Yeah, it was a little bit. It's always a bit difficult, to have a conversation over the live chat. So it's lovely that you
exactly. So I asked you many times of your Skype or Instagram, so we could talk face to face.
Because where did you ask? On the live chat or somewhere else?
Yeah, on the live chat. But then I usually come in with my other name, my own name, my own account.
Sure. When many times I can seldom follow the live chat content many times because then I'm focused on the conversation at hand with the person who I'm speaking to. I seldom can follow the live chat, and that's why it's brilliant that you're here with me right now. So let's get cracking now, Shailesh. So
let's get started.
Yeah. So in terms of so you believe you'd call yourself a Hindu, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So do you consider literature such as Ramayana and the Vedas and so on to be very old?
Yeah.
Like, what's the kind of date you give for that literature?
For the Ramayana, I can go like 7,000 BC till 9,000 BC. For the Mahabharata, I can go like 5,000, 4,000 BC before the Great Flood.
Sure. Now, question is, how did you arrive at these conclusions?
Because if you look at our religion, the stories that goes, the things that happened, that happened way before, and like if I look at the Christianity, they believe in the Great Flood. The Great Flood happened, but we also had a Great Flood in the Mahabharata, because then Dwarka went underwater, and that went all underwater for a reason. So that's why I say the Mahabharata is at the time of the Great Flood.
Sure, but
Ramayana goes way before that, because for me, like you believe in Eva and Adam, we believe in Ram and Sita.
But here is the challenge, Shailesh. Yeah. For example, I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah.
Today, I can write a book. Yeah, I can write a book. Some sort of a story. Kutima, please. Today, I can write a book with the storyline which goes before the film. There is nothing preventing me from doing that today. Just because in my storyline there is a flood and my story goes to a time before the flood, it doesn't mean the book was written before the flood.
What you say now, I see that comparison with Islam. With the Hinduism, our stories go way before that. It was mount on mount.
Yeah, and here is where I
I don't know what the bird is called who was trying to save Sita. But at that time, we had big birds. We had big animals. People were big. That changed all in time. We got evoluted. So that means that, yeah.
Shailesh, no, here is where we really need to get to evidence. And very simply, the question we are asking is the literature. Anyone can write a story even today.
Let me ask you a question. Can you prove?
One second, please. This is important.
Okay.
Even today, I can write the same story or something very similar to Ramayana, for example. Very similar.
Yeah, okay.
Big birds, big people, or whatever else. I can write a story today.
Just because on the time.
No, one second. Just because I've written a story, just because I've written a story with a big bird, it doesn't mean the story was written 5,000 BC or 10,000 BC or so on. I can today write the same story. And therefore, my question is, how does one you can't just say the storyline looks like old and therefore the literature must be old. You can't say that.
I don't say the storyline looks old. We have also proved, like in like the Ellora caves. Can you date the Ellora caves? Can you date the pyramids? Exactly this date. You cannot do that. That's why it's an assumption. And the Ellora caves, no one can date it.
Say so.
You tell me when the Ellora caves are made.
Ajanta and Ellora caves are very much dated. Ajanta and Ellora cave. Yeah, there are many cave temples in what are called cave temples. It's a cave complex, of course. Yeah, the earliest of them is dated to around if I remember correctly, the 3rd century BC, the earliest of them.
You say
But
that.
most of them,
You say that. I have also proof that it goes way before that.
please
If you look
provide
at
the evidence.
Praveen Mohan, you know Praveen Mohan?
But Shailesh, please provide the evidence.
Yeah, listen, can you provide the evidence that it was 300 BC? Can you provide it?
I can.
It's
I
all
can.
that. No. You cannot. You cannot.
Don't
Give
speak
me
for
proof.
me. Don't
Give me
speak for
proof.
me.
Give me proof then.
Don't speak for me.
You no. You speak what others say. You speak what others say, and the most who say that are the white people who says your religion is a myth. Why does the bridge in Lanka? What happened with that?
Shailesh,
The Adams Bridge. Wait, the Adams Bridge. What time was it made?
Shailesh, 1 second.
That is proof.
Shailesh, please.
Yeah.
No, for example, I did an engineering degree, yeah, BE engineering,
Okay.
and then I did an MBA. I guess my story is, you could write a doctoral research paper on something, for example. I
Yeah.
don't know your particular line of trade, but you know what I mean when I say people
I
can be
understand you.
yeah. When
Yeah.
researchers, for example, if I am a researcher, if you are a researcher, and if you're trying to establish the date for some literature, which historians do, which
Mhm.
religious historians or regular secular historians might do. Historians of secular history or religious history could do that. When they do that, if the question asked is how to establish the date for a literature, they need to provide substance in their argument. They can't just say, hey, you have some idea, I have some idea, let's go with my idea. You can't do that.
Okay.
They
Can
need
I
to be
say something on that?
please,
Can I say
no,
something on
please
that?
don't. Please, before you say anything, there needs to be
Go, continue.
substance. There needs to be substance with which you date something. And so my question very simply is to you, Shailesh. I'm not asking you just to say, hey, white people said this, Indians say
No,
this.
no, no.
No,
If you want substance, listen. If you want
I'm
substance,
asking you for substance. So please, this time, focus on the substance.
I gave you substance are the Adams Bridge, the temples, and carbon dating. Yeah, don't tell the exact date. Could be, maybe, like a doctor. If you go to a doctor and you have cancer, he says maybe you have like 3 months for living. Maybe they cannot say you have 3 months and in 3 months you die, or after 3 months you die. It's a maybe. It's always a maybe. You understand what I try to say?
But yours is nothing. You understand what I'm trying to say? You haven't said anything
Ours
so
is
far.
everything. Ours is everything because the
So-
the Adams Bridge is dated, carbon dated like 7,000 BC.
Sure. One second. Okay, let's stick with that. 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay, you need to listen here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Adams Bridge. Let's take Adams Bridge. Let's take just Adams Bridge, and let's talk about Adams Bridge. So what has been carbon dated with Adams Bridge?
The stones and the sand underneath it.
Stones and sand cannot be carbon dated. Can't be.
Why? So wait. You say stones and sand cannot be carbon dated. Then how can you say that the Ellora caves are 300 BC? They are stones.
Shailesh,
Why you jump from things?
Shailesh, don't jump from one to another. I'd like to focus on one.
Yeah, that's good.
Look, I'm trying to get to some substance. Why are you always complaining?
No. I give you an answer. You say to me, we cannot carbon date. We cannot.
Let me speak. You need to let me speak. I said I muted you there, Shailesh. You need to let the other person speak, hear, and then engage. I'll repeat what happened. You tell me if it is merely complaining or if you're providing substance. I said, okay, the conversation is a little bit hard right now, so let's purely focus on Adams Bridge. So I wanted us to focus on Adams Bridge. And I asked you, how do you arrive at the date of Adams Bridge? and you said carbon dated. I asked you what has been carbon dated. You're saying stones and sand. And there, I'm just making a crucial scientific remark, which is very simply inorganic material cannot be carbon dated. Carbon dating, carbon dating applies to organic material like dead animals, dead skin.
Okay. Okay.
Those
I
are the
get
only
you.
things that can be carbon. Let me finish. Don't jump in, please. While I was saying that, you suddenly said, then why did you say Ajanta Ellora Caves is this? And that's a mere complaint. Focus on the Adams
No,
Bridge.
no.
Tell me,
Yeah.
please focus on Adams Bridge. Please tell me, how do you arrive at the conclusion of the date of Adams Bridge, please?
Uh, because it's scientifically they say that. I cannot. I am not. I am not. How do you say it? Archaeologic. But if you say stones and sand cannot be carbon dated, only organic things, then how can you say the Ellora caves is 300 BC? That's not
Ellora
stones.
Cave later.
No, 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 no. You. I don't mix things, sir. I don't mix things. You said stones and sand cannot be carbon dated. You cannot put a date on that. Then how can you tell me that the Ellora caves are 300 BC? You said it to me. Ellora caves are 300 BC.
And
How you know?
listen. Okay, good. Because there are many ways to date something, not just carbon dating. Carbon dating is one of many different methods to date an archaeological artifact or some other historical resource. Carbon dating is not the only way. And therefore, for Ellora caves, Ajanta caves, Ellora caves, there has been significant research that has happened. And I can bring some details up for you later. But right now, please focus on Adams Bridge. And
Yeah,
my point,
I will.
and there my point was, please,
Yeah.
please listen and then respond, please. In relation to Adams Bridge, I'd really like to know, Shailesh, if you know personally how it has been dated to the spectacular dates you come up with.
First, the stones were placed there. The stones what were placed there. They don't belong from there. They come from different place. And how do you say the Ellora caves are dated with a lot of other researches? The same researches has been done on the Adams Bridge, and the conclusion is 7,000 BC.
I like the fact that you're giving me the conclusion and you're giving me a story, but nothing in terms of the actual details of the dating. You're saying the stones were placed there. Who says so?
The Ramayana.
But we're trying to establish a date for Ramayanam. This is like, you know what you're doing right now.
7,000 BC.
One second. I'm trying to find out if someone murdered someone, and what you're doing is just asking him, did you murder? He says, no, I didn't. And then, okay, we say, okay, he didn't murder and move on. It doesn't work
No,
like
no,
that.
no. Now you speak for me. I don't
Shailesh,
ask.
Shailesh. When you speak, Shailesh, when you speak,
Yeah.
I listen. When I speak, you should listen. Please. If
Listen
you
to
don't,
me. I listen, but if you want to put things in my mouth that I didn't say, then I react on it.
I didn't say that you said those things. What I am saying is that is the equivalent. My point simply is we are trying to date Ramayana. And when trying to date Ramayana, you can't assume Ramayana is already right. I'm trying to find out when it was written. We don't know anything about it right now at this stage. We're trying to find out when it was written. While doing that, if you think Ramayana is already historical and it is already 10,000 years old, and you're using details from there to establish this is how the bridge was built, then you're doing circular reasoning. We don't do that. We need to have a valid entry point for us who are in the 21st century, a valid entry point. Let me put it this way, Shailesh. My intent is not to reject anything that you're saying. My intent is to scrutinize and try and let me put it this way. If I came to you, Shailesh, If I came to you and said, "Hey, Shailesh, you need to have you need to have a you need to have an expert. If you own a car, if I come to you and say, "Hey, I'm an expert mechanic. I think your car needs a particular servicing. It takes about 10,000 euros, and I can do that for you." Will you straight away say, "Okay, lovely, you're saying this, and therefore I'll give you 10,000 euros"? You won't. You'll try and find out if that is true or not. Yeah,
Yeah,
if what I'm saying
exactly.
is true or not. And that is what I'm trying to do. I am the guy, Ramayana, who is coming to you and saying this is how the bridge was built. We're trying to find out if this is true or not. And this is where we are trying to date the literature. While trying to date the literature, you can't just go with what he has said. That'll be like, going with what I'm saying to pay me 10,000 euros to get your car serviced. So let me go back to this. Shailesh, with
Yeah,
Adam's Bridge, so you told me two things. Number one, you said the rocks were put there. Where do you
yeah,
get that idea from? Number one. And number two, you said it can be dated to something like 10,000 BC or 7,000 or 8,000, 9,000
yeah.
BC. How do you arrive at that conclusion? And the answer shouldn't be Ramayana says so. You can't do that. You now need to provide a fairly good argumentation based on, like you rightly started off, carbon dating won't work, but there are other dating methods. So you can try
Yeah.
and say, hey, based on an analysis of this particular geologic structure, I can say this is this research has been carried out, and we can say this is what seems to have happened. And based on this,
Mhm.
the date for this geological structure is this. What would your details be in that particular format?
Like I already said, I'm not an archaeologist, but India government already did so many researches on that particular subject, and they come as a conclusion 7,000 BC.
Shailesh, I come from Tamil Nadu.
Gee.
Adam's Bridge is a significant sticking point between the government of Tamil Nadu and the government of India. Tamil Nadu
Gee.
wants to build an important water desalination project there. It's called Ram Setu project. Tamil Nadu government has been thinking about this project for a very long time right now, and the Indian government is always putting, hindering the work. So the point,
Okay.
very simply, this idea that Archaeological Survey of India has somehow established what you're suggesting is absurd. I do not think that is the case at all. Where do you get this idea from?
Why you call Ram Setu? Why do you say Ram Setu?
That's a different question. Please focus on the
It's,
subject.
I go only on the information you give me. First you explain how do you get the name Ram Setu?
Shailesh, what material information do you have to give a date to the geologic structure we have? There are plenty of people who are watching who may not know what we're talking about. But I'm sure the Indians who are watching would know. But essentially, just one second, Shailesh. So, for just to give a brief introduction to the others, very simply, between India, India itself, and
Yeah.
Sri Lanka, which are adjacent countries, there is an interesting geologic structure.
Yeah.
And this structure, in the epic called Ramayana, there is this claim that this god called Ram, the epic doesn't call him god, but Rama built a bridge, or not himself, but someone else helped him build a bridge between India and what is called as Lanka. Where is Lanka is a very huge question of research, but people claim today that that bridge is what we find as a geologic structure between India and Sri Lanka. That's the claim. And here is where Shailesh is interested in establishing the date for that particular geologic structure as the date for Ramayana. And also he wants to establish that geologic structure is man-made, artificial, not from some natural course of events, which would help bolster his the authenticity of Ramayana. I think with those purposes, Shailesh is making those 2 points for those who are not familiar with this particular topic. So Shailesh, please, we'll return to you. So I completely agree. If you said you're not a geologist of some sort, and therefore you don't know the details, you don't have to be a geologist to know the details. You just need to be aware of what research has been done to come with the details. But if you don't know, that's fine. I'm not saying you should know, but all that I'm saying is, Shailesh, all that I'm saying, can I please, as a fellow human being, recommend to you, in our discussions, we need to have confidence only about things that we do know. What we don't know could be entirely wrong. For example, if I went around the world claiming, hey, I am the king of the universe, anyone who doesn't accept that, I'll be extremely upset with. It'll be absurdity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I should be confident only about things that I actually genuinely, reasonably know. I don't have to be 100% sure, but if I have reasonable belief, maybe some idea, 80%, 60%, 90%, then I can say, hey, I seem to be a gentleman of this nature. You better respect me for that. Don't disrespect me. I can claim that. And if people don't respect me for that, then I can be, I can say, I want to stay away from you. I don't think you're reasonable. That sort of stuff, And that's my only recommendation. When you don't know the details, I'd really like, Shailesh, please, to recommend to you to maybe get to know the details. I can confidently tell you, ASI is a department I've been sort of using as my resource in my how do you say? I forget the name, but in my I've sort of done a pre-research, pre-actual full-fledged research. I can honestly tell you, ASI hasn't come to any conclusion of the sort you are presenting. Survey of literature. My wife reminds me. So I've done a survey of literature in relation to Indian religions, and I can honestly tell you. And I know when doing that, of course, ASI is a significant department which produces multiple research articles, publications, and so on, which you can use to reconstruct history for India and that sort of stuff. And I can honestly tell you, in my knowledge, I could be wrong, but in my knowledge of having gone through details, I don't think ASI makes any such comment about what we call Adam's bridge. I don't think there is any such comment made by ASI, neither by any other scientific, any other department or institute of research. No one has made such a comment. But unfortunately, I find many Indians making this claim. I know you mentioned this gentleman called Praveen. I saw his. Please go on.
You know why?
Yeah, please.
In my religion, Ramayana happened before Mahabharata. That I assume. Ramayana happened before Mahabharata. Mahabharata came later. But in the Ramayana, it's written about the Ram Setu. It's written what happened. And if you look at the geological structure between India and Sri Lanka, there was something there. There is still something there. For that, I assume the Ramayana was true.
I understand. So, in other words, you have some assumptions. And that is the key point I want to make. People have done research, by the way, on Adam's bridge. And so far, the general awareness among scientific researchers is that there is no reason to consider Adam's bridge to be of artificial result of an artificial process at all. There is no reason to consider. Similar structures exist elsewhere in the globe too. Similar structures, where between two substantial, for example, if you're familiar with the Suez Canal between North America and South America, Suez Canal is very much a canal which was dug up in similar sort of underwater mountain.
Okay.
Now, no one is going to claim that there was a bridge built there. That sort of stuff. In other words, similar structures exist in different other parts of the world. And the point simply is, so far, there has not been anyone of scientific repute who has suggested that Adam's bridge is of artificial descent at all.
But there
And
are
so,
many. Adam's Bridge is an example I give. But there are many examples I can give about Hinduism around the
sure,
world.
cool. So, Shailesh, so that's lovely. We'll get to that in a minute, please. So, shall we agree that for Adam's Bridge, you're going with assumptions? And that is an important point I want to make. And I'd really like for you to take it on board. For example, after our stream today, I'd really like to invite you to jump on as many times that you'd like to jump on the stream.
Thanks,
But
man.
what I'd really recommend is for you to pursue this question. You said ASI. You can try and see if ASI actually has done some research on this. Their
Yeah.
research materials are all published. If you want physical copies, you can actually go to some specific libraries run by them where you can procure. So you can pursue. Please pursue. That is my only point. Don't go with assumptions. Assumptions could be catastrophic.
Yeah, but that is a problem. There is a little bit problem in that, because the assumption I make is throughout the writings we have and the structures there are. But even in India, like how do you say it? The Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is made by Shah Jahan. But they say before that it was a Shiv Mandir. But everything is closed. You cannot go inside, like the Ellora caves. Closed. You cannot go inside. You cannot go deeper in it. And why the India government keep it a secret, I don't know. There are many things that are holding back secret. I don't know why.
Shailesh, please.
Yeah.
I know the gentleman you referred to earlier, Praveen. I can't remember his last name. Praveen,
Mohan.
who is based in the US, from what I understand. A while ago, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, I can't remember exactly when, but I ran into his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And of course, he makes plenty of videos from plenty of temples or temple-like structures from across India. And he claims many things and so on. I've gone through I went through a while ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, I can't remember when, but I went through his few of his videos, and I thought, this guy is ridiculous. He makes tremendous claims, doesn't get to the bottom of actually presenting any details to the claim at all. He makes flamboyant claims which are all hanging in thin air. And 1 second, let me finish,
Yeah.
Shailesh. And
Yeah.
making ridiculous flamboyant claims, and he doesn't I'll give you maybe not to be distracted too much on him. Very simply, it's nice to come up with conspiracy theories, but conspiracy theories don't take us far. The temples in India, Ajanta Ellora caves, are structures that are accessible to the public even today. If you think the government is trying to hide a secret, I don't know what to say about this. These are publicly accessible places even today. And therefore,
Not every place.
not every place, not every cave.
Not whole the Ellora caves is accessible. Like not whole Taj Mahal is accessible. Not whole how do you say it? Lal Kila is accessible. There are many places you cannot go. You cannot go inside. Which of the
Ajanta Ellora caves is not accessible? I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm genuinely
there is a part where you cannot go down. There is a how do you say it? It's closed. Like
but the caves are accessible.
Sorry?
But the caves themselves are accessible.
Few places are accessible, yeah.
The caves themselves are accessible.
Yeah. A few are accessible.
A few, okay. I haven't been there. I'd really like to be there. I haven't been there, and so I'm taking your word for it. I don't know for sure. But my point very simply is, Shailesh, I have no reason to suggest anything is secret, that anyone is, preventing anyone from accessing. My simple point is, I'd like to move on. Adam's Bridge, you are saying, you're assuming that's fine. And you said you have a few other details from Ramayana to help you date. Which other details would you like to take for us to go through some details?
For the Ramayana, I will go on the Mahabharata now, if you don't mind.
Okay, so we're keeping Ramayana aside. Fine. Okay,
Yeah.
Mahabharata. What details in Mahabharata would you like to?
There is a piece that you know the story about Dronachari had a student who cut off his thumb as
Yeah,
Guru Dakshina.
Eklaiva. Yeah.
He sent him to the west. He says to Dronachari said to him, "You go to the west." And even in the west, the Aztecs, they shoot the arrow not with their thumb, with the two fingers, because they don't use their thumb. Why they do use their thumb? Eklavya had no thumb. He can shoot the arrow with two fingers only. And also the Aztec, the religion, you can find there Ganesh Bhagwan, you can find there the sun god, you can find there so many things that refers back to the Hinduism. So what I'm trying to say is, worldwide, you have many structures, many places that refers back to the Hinduism, that refers back to the Mahabharata, refers back to the Ramayana.
So Shailesh, I'm a bit surprised you're saying what you're saying right now. Okay, let's get to the details. Let's get the detail. You know, plenty of conspiracy theory. Plenty of conspiracy theory doesn't make
Yeah, but
something true.
the same I can say about Christianity. The same I can say about any religion is conspiracy, because they claim you have no proof that it was there on that time. That the Eliana, the Holy Grail is still not found. It's assumptions you made. You because it's written in the Bible, you believe it like we do.
Shailesh, 1 second. Where in the Bible do you have a Holy Grail?
Didn't Jesus drink from the Holy Grail?
Where do you get this idea from?
Even kijken. You have it also in the painting with his 11 disciples, the Holy Grail.
But the painting is a very late painting. What do you? I mean, here,
it refers on the story. It refers on the story.
Shailesh, 1 second. You have been you've been following a lot of conspiracy theories. It's not good. It's not healthy. Shailesh, let me put it this way. Very simple. 1 second.
Yeah.
Christianity. I am a Christian, and I am a Christian with a reason. And I know Jesus Christ is true in multiple different ways. I have personal experience with him. I have historical insight to establish his historicity. And therefore, Christianity, when it comes to evidence, is rock solid, believe it or not. And here is where I'd like to invite you to, on Friday, tomorrow, we actually do a stream. Fridays we do a stream where you can ask questions on Christianity and I can answer. And you would find out, unlike how you are struggling to give precise details, deep details, when it comes to Christianity, we won't struggle at all. It is well-established facts, and that is very important. And so, but to keep the focus, which is very important to get to the depth, let's keep Christianity aside for a moment. I can defend Christianity all day long.
I will talk tomorrow to you about it. Don't worry.
You'll talk to me what?
I will talk about Christianity tomorrow to you about it.
Absolutely.
Don't worry.
Come on board, and we will see.
I will. Don't worry.
If you come and speak to me about Jesus Christ, it's not a matter of worry for me. It's a matter of joy, because I have done my research and it's solid. It's not Praveen Mohan conspiracy theories. This is
you can talk. Now you can explain me where the Ark of Noah is, where everything is. But for now, we keep it on Hinduism.
Let's get back to Mahabharata. When we get back to Mahabharata, so give me details. So you're talking about Ekalaiva, you're talking about him being sent to the, so give me the details from so your entire point is that,
and
the entire point is that
the biggest proof in that, the biggest proof from Mahabharata is Dwarka. Dwarka that has been found before India, underwater.
Where is Dwarka found?
North, east, south. West, South India. In the water.
Southwest India in
under
the
the
water.
water. Yes.
Where? Let's try and get some details. Where is this? Please, let's go through some details. Where is this?
Wait.
What research?
I will find it for you. I will find it for you. Don't worry.
Please.
The pictures you can see on Google. If you type Dwarka underwater pic, what are those? What are those? And that refers back to the Mahabharata, when the great flood had took place.
So you're going to do you want us to look at some pictures.
What are those? Man-made? Computer-made?
No, cool down, man. We're looking at detail.
I'm just asking you, bro. I'm just asking you.
No, wait a second. We're trying to have an intelligent conversation. You asked me to look at some pictures when I'm asking you for some evidence, which in itself is a little bit weird. This is weird. I'm asking you for details, substantial information. You're asking me to look at some Google search pictures, but that's fine. At least we're having some start somewhere. And before even I get to some pictures, I don't even know what pictures you have in mind. You already sort of mockingly asked some questions. What is the intent? Shailesh,
The pictures you see
we
in front of you.
We need details. Now, you are going to help us understand you're going to help us understand how this is Mahabharata related temples. I'd really like to understand. So please, what do you want me to see?
Because the city is underwater. Are you agree with that?
Well, yes, there are cities underwater. Yeah.
Okay. In the Mahabharata is written, Dwarka, the city of Shri Krishna, went underwater. After the Mahabharata finished, it went underwater because of a curse Krishna got from Kaurav's mother.
So in other words, if there is any city underwater somewhere in the world, it means that Mahabharata.
Now you play just stupid. Now you play just stupid. Because if you want to talk like that, Atlantis is also underwater. What says that Dwarka is not Atlantis?
Shailesh, please listen to me carefully. Just there's not. please. We require patience here. My point is, if you were to present what you're saying in the last 5 minutes as a PhD thesis to me, PhD thesis to me, where I am your history professor, the thesis would be thrown out. I'm asking for material details, and you're merely saying there is a city underwater and therefore it is Dwarka of Mahabharata. Where are the details? Give me details. Give me the details to understand that Mahabharata could be dated to a very early time. And I'm assuming you're somehow going to help. And before we get there, you're trying to identify where Dwarka is. I'd like to find out if what we are saying here is the Dwarka of Mahabharata. So please give me some details. You can't just say there is a city underwater.
That I cannot give. The details are written in our scriptures, and I see the details all over around the world, like the city underwater now.
Give me some details.
The details are written in our scriptures, and that if the city exists underwater, you see it. That means that the scriptures we have written are true, are not fake or a myth. Because if in the Mahabharata is written that Krishna city Dwarka went underwater, and you see the city before India at the coastline underwater, it's an assumption I make. I cannot prove nothing.
Sure. So let's put it this question. If we are aware of the fact that throughout history, there have been significant events to an extent. Even population centers have gone underwater across various parts of the world.
Yes, yes.
That does not mean Mahabharata's Dwarka is underwater. I'm trying to understand. You're saying Mahabharata's Dwarka. There are plenty of details in Mahabharata, which the details give you the idea that this is that Dwarka. I'm trying to understand what those details are.
What you search for details, but what details do you have for the details is written also in your book, The Great Flood. There are many details all around every religion.
Shailesh,
And this one is particularly to our religion. Dwarka, Shri Krishna, Mahabharata. You can date it there. From that you can date.
Let me put it this way.
What I'm trying to say?
I hear what you're saying. I don't understand. I hear what you're saying. I'll clarify. I'll explain, please. Let's say I'm selling some what I'm calling as diamonds. Yeah. And I'm selling something that looks like diamonds, and I'm saying, hey, give me €1 million for this. Give me 500,000 euros for this, and so on. I'm asking for humongous amount of money, and you're asking me a genuine question, and the question is, how do I know if this is diamond? You're asking me, and as you ask me, I say, hey, can't you see the other guys are also selling similar things? If I said just like that,
I tell you something. The example. No, the example you gave me. Wait. The example.
I didn't finish. Please. When I have muted you, Shailesh, please. When you spoke, I listened to you. When I speak, I'd really like for you to listen. Without which, it won't be a friendly and productive conversation. Please. I'm asking you for basic courtesy. When you speak, I listen. When I speak, you listen. Please. And there, the very simple point is, when you ask me a genuine question as to why what I am selling, which looks like a diamond, but which could have been a simple glass, when you ask me for evidence that this is actually diamond, if I just said, hey, look at the other guys also, are they not selling similar things? And therefore, this must be diamond, that won't work. You need to speak about what you're holding in your hands. And that is why I'm asking you, please.
I take the stone and I try to break the diamond. If it's a real diamond, it will not break. If it's glass, it will break.
Sure. So, in other words, do something like that when it comes to Dwarka.
I do research for it.
Please don't complain other religions are doing something and therefore, please don't. Don't talk about it right now. Speak only about Dwarka right now.
For it.
Please only talk about Dwarka. Don't talk about any other religion. Only focus on Dwarka. So please help me. I can bring up any research material you want to be brought up here. What is giving you the insight that Dwarka of Mahabharata has been found?
I assume it. To be sure, I assume that it's Dwarka.
Sure. You see, this is the point.
Wait. Like if you give me a diamond, if it's glass, I have a stone on it, yeah, and it don't break. The glass don't break. Then I assume it's diamond.
Sure. At the least, you've done one significant test there. That is that you have done a test of whether it breaks. With Dwarka, did you do any tests so far? Can you give me any details so far? You haven't given any details.
I assume it because why? Dwarka happened in the Mahabharata. It tells a story what happened, and the similar is with the city you see now underwater. The similar, it was in front of India.
I like your idea. You use the term similar. What is similar? That's what I'm looking at. What is the similar?
Where the city, according to scripture, was located, is located like where they found it, and it's underwater.
Please give me details. When you say where it's
then you have to go deep in the Mahabharata. Then you have to go deep in the Mahabharata because when you know Shakuni. He is from the part of Iran and stuff.
Shailesh, now you
That
talk
means,
more details. Shailesh,
yeah, it's details.
please
I know.
focus on Dwarka.
Okay.
Yeah, I quite like the idea that you're saying. Then we need to look at more details. Completely understood. Please help me understand what details you have in your mind. Give me the details. We can look at that and try and establish. Please give me the details.
Like I said, the details is in our scripture. It was said that the city went underwater after the Mahabharat. Like this city is underwater, like 4000 BC, 5000 BC. No one can exact date it. So I make the assumption, just like
Assumption.
yeah,
But with the
just like
diamond,
I hit the fake diamond with the stone. It don't break. Then I make assumption it's a real diamond. I can tell I can tell for certainly if it's real or fake. But when it don't break, then I assume it's real.
Yeah, but with the diamond, when you try hard to break, and if it doesn't break, at the least you have done some significant tests. You know the difference between glass and diamond. Diamond is really, really hard. I can't remember the exact quantification of the hardness of diamond, but at least you've done some test. To me, please bear with me. To me, it comes across like with Dwarka, you haven't done any test, which is fair enough. I'm not archaeologic. You haven't given me any detail.
If I were an archaeologic, I would go deeper in that.
No, I'm not asking you to go deeper.
I could talk deeper in that. I am not an archaeologic, so I make assumptions. Assumptions for what I know, what I read, and what happened.
Shailesh, your destiny and my destiny are dependent on claims such as what we're talking about, truth. I am a Christian. You are a Hindu. Yeah. Now, I really like to think that God of the Bible is the only true God. And this is where I try to give my defense on a Friday. I really try and give a defense on a Friday. Now, you are suggesting that Hinduism is true. But from what I am saying, of course, we were talking only about literature, Ramayana and Mahabharata so far, and you were trying to give dates. But we spoke about two specific big things. With both of those specific big things, you are only giving me assumptions.
Yeah.
Now, please consider carefully. If your assumptions are wrong, your eternity is going to not be in the right place. And therefore, it is very important for you. I'm not asking you to become an expert archaeologist or geologist or anything like that. I'm not asking you to become an expert. I'm only asking you to do a little bit of research, find some details that we can bring up in our conversation and say, hey, these are some specific details. With these specific details, even though it's not all of the details, with some 4 or 5 important points, you can see that this is the case. Then I'd really be confident that I'd really be happy that, what, Shailesh is really taking his eternity seriously and he's doing his research, is trying to make sure he knows where he is going after he passes away, when he passes away. He's taking it seriously. I'll be confident. But right now, I'm not confident. And this is where, Shailesh, can I recommend 2 things and then I'll move on to someone else. 2 things is, Shailesh, please recommend, please come on board any number of times in the future. But when you come on board next time, can you please bring up some specific details? Some details of archaeological research done by someone else, not you. I'm not asking you to become a researcher. No, by no means. But please try and access some specific details. Try and understand some specific details from Mahabharata, some specific details referred to there, and then match it with what we are finding and say, hey, look, because of these details. So number 1, that's 1. Please get to some level of detail, number 1. And number 2 is, can I please also recommend equally jump on a Friday and understand the Christian viewpoint and try and challenge it. And let's try and see where we can go with this as fellow human beings, fellow Indians. Yeah.
I respect every religion, and in every religion you have something that goes deeper and brings you more to God.
But
So,
ultimately,
about
go on. Sorry,
about the
go on.
second to what you said, I will come tomorrow. But the first one, you said, give me proof, and I referred to Praveen Mohan. He's a little bit archaeologic, but then you say no, Praveen Mohan is making assumptions and he's talking too much. Why you say that then?
Shailesh, let me put it this way. I didn't say Praveen Mohan is talking too much. Talking too much, I don't have a problem with. I talk too much. Yeah.
No,
My
he
problem.
he talks like what you said. I forgot what you say, man.
His points are ridiculous. He makes ridiculous.
That you said. But how can you say that? He makes archaeological claims. He makes claims. If you want to go against the claims, then you come with proof. What proof you have that he talk ridiculous? What proof?
Shailesh, I am not speaking to Praveen right now.
I am asking you.
One second. I'll suggest something to you. If any one of you can bring Praveen Shailesh to the stream, then I will take him to task and he will be ripped apart. He won't stand a chance. But for that, I need him on the stream, not you. When I'm engaging with him, when he is presenting a case, you will see the number of black holes in his case. That's when I'm speaking to him today and in the future. Until I speak to him, I'm speaking to someone like you or someone else. Yeah. And so at some stage, through God's grace, I will be making some response videos in relation to what Praveen Mohan has suggested. I know he has several videos. I went through just a few, a year ago or a couple of years ago, I can't remember. And the few videos, I thought this guy is not fit for purpose. That was my conclusion based on the few videos I watched. Now I can make, through God's grace, at some stage, I would be making response videos. But in the meantime, when you come on board, bring details that he suggests. Let's see how far you go.
Okay.
Also,
can I ask you something?
Sure.
You made a claim, I think 2 or 3 videos before, you made a claim that Hinduism is like 300 BC.
Depending on what you mean, what I can say a number of things.
I thought, according to my what I remember, you said to me, or the Ramayana or the Mahabharata is 300 BC.
I have reasons to think that all the Sanskrit literature, as a matter of fact, I have reasons to think all the Sanskrit literature earliest could go to only 300 BC.
I don't think that. You make your you make your statement hard for me.
When I actually present a full case on that, look for the details I present. I will actually substantiate with precise archaeological details.
Yeah, I will. I'm waiting for the details for you.
Absolutely. Please. Unfortunately, we have many things in the pipeline. So those videos are not scheduled to be made immediately in the future. But I reasonably speaking, I think it's going to be a few months before we get there. And so please look forward to those details. Shailesh.
I will. Next time I come with more details. And I see you tomorrow, brother. Thank you for inviting me. Have a nice evening.
Shailesh, lovely having a conversation with you today. And let's catch up. Hopefully catch up tomorrow. God's blessings.
It's cool. I see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Cool. While it's lovely having a conversation with Shailesh. It was longer than I had anticipated, but it's fine because there aren't many who are waiting in the backstage, which I think is quite understandable, which is that we're dealing with something significant here. And I'd really like to commend this to everyone who is a follower of some sort of an Indian religion. When you follow a religion, you need to have strong evidence. It's very vital. I am a Christian. I sincerely believe that Jesus Christ is the creator God, triune God. God of the Bible is the only true God. I sincerely believe that to be the case. My belief is based on some tangible evidence that I can present. And I sincerely believe that this being the case, eternity is people are in serious jeopardy when they are not Christians. I'd really like my fellow Indians, every one of them, to be Christians. But I'd like for them to be Christians based on appropriate reasoning. And that is why today I'm engaging with my fellow Indians, trying to understand their case as to why Hinduism is viable as a view, as representative of the creator being. And equally, I'd also want to go through some details in relation to Christianity on a Friday. I'd like to bring someone else on stage in a minute, but in the meantime, I'd simply like to say Jesus Christ is the only person who can save you. He is the only solution to sin. He is the only solution to human wickedness. And therefore, my invitation is very much to all those who are non-Christians to certainly consider the veracity of the Christian claim carefully. If you don't know the veracity of the Christian claim, Fridays, 8 p.m. London time, if that is too late for you, please, you can watch the recording or maybe email me some questions that we can take up at some stage. But Jesus is the only way. He is the creator God. He is the only one who can help you, who can save you. Please, 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 let me comment this to you. I don't want you to be Christians immediately. I'd want you to consider the claims carefully on either side. And I'd like for you to consider which and evaluate carefully as to which side Christians or Christianity, biblical Christianity on the side of Jesus Christ, or Hinduism, which one actually stands up to scrutiny. That's a challenge I'd really like for everyone to take up. As I say that, there are still a couple of people in the backstage. Dylan, are you around? I don't see you around again. I'm not sure if you've gone away from your desk again. Not sure. Dylan, are you around? Hello. Okay, I don't see you around. I'm really, really sorry. I know you earlier said that you wanted to say something, but I see that you are on and off in front of your computer, so not sure. Apologies. Let me try and bring someone else right now. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Johnny Wisdom, you are on stage right now.
Yeah. Hi,
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing
Hello.
great.
How are you doing?
Hello. Doing good.
Okay, wonderful. And you are, would you identify yourself as a Hindu or what's the case?
Yeah, I'm a Hindu.
You're a Hindu. Okay. And so the particular apologies, just 1 second. I see 2 or 3 people in the backstage. It's 6:30. We'll need to wrap up at 7. I want to make sure that people understand that I can't have a conversation with everyone today. I think it's most likely going to be Johnny plus one more. I see Satya Prakash Mishra, you have joined. I think you were in the backstage and you wanted to join. I think you were trying to find out how to join, I think, earlier. Or maybe that's Subhash Chandra. Apologies, Subhash Chandra. If you need to join, the link is up on the live chat at the top. You need to click on the link and give appropriate permission. But for today, I think it's most likely Johnny Wisdom for 15 minutes. Johnny, I'd really like to speak to you for 15 minutes because there are a couple of other people who are waiting in the backstage. Okay, now the topic for today. Did you? So of course we're trying to establish an early date for Ramayana or Mahabharata. I don't think Ramayana and Mahabharata can be dated to similar to what has been claimed. Something like 9,000 BC, 10,000 BC, 8,000 BC. I think these are far-fetched impossibilities in my view. But I'd really like to hear from you. Do you have any particular insights that can help us date these literature to a very early date, such as 8,000, 9,000 BC?
We don't know. The simple answer is, you are following Gregorian calendar, whereas Hindus follow some other calendar, Muslims follow some other calendar. So as per Hindu calendar, Hinduism, which is also called as Sanatana Dharma, means it is ageless. So you can't pinpoint a particular date for Hinduism, but as per various scientific researches and archaeological evidences or anecdotal evidences or evidences which have come from other religions like Buddhism or some, other texts, Jainism, the mention of Hindu gods was there before Buddha. That is one, which is around 600 BCE as per Western, scientific perspective. And even Harappan civilization, Indus Valley civilization, they show some kind of Hindu gods, something similar to Hindu god. They show Pachupati, who is god of animals, who is precursor to Lord Shiva. They show these kind of evidences, but unlike Abrahamic religions, which both Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, which point to some dates of revelations or some dates of the existence of their prophets. You can't pinpoint a date to Rama when Rama existed, but these are all Sanatana Dharma, which are ageless, and they can be before. In Hinduism, there are 4 yugas, you must be knowing: Krita Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is the Satya Yuga is the first one, then Krita Yuga. So this is Hindu calendar. So we follow these yugas.
Johnny, let me please stop you there. If I ask you what your date of birth is, whether you use Gregorian calendar or whether you use some other calendar, you should be able to give a date.
I use my Hindu calendar. Yeah, I use my Hindu calendar. Yeah.
Absolutely. Whatever calendar you use, you should be able to give a date. Correct. Once you give a date, if I know the details of how these calendars match, I can appropriately convert that to the appropriate date in Gregorian calendar if I wanted to. Yeah, I am a Tamil. Tamils have our own calendar, Tamil calendar. I can convert to a Tamil calendar if I wanted to. But the point is, there is a date for your birth, for example. Of course, your birth is something which is, in the recent past.
Because I'm a human.
One second, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Something from the recent past. Now, similarly, if you wanted to date something, for example, Ajanta Ellora temples or whatever else, we can similarly come up with some dates. Now, of course, you can use any calendar if you want, any calendar that you want. Of course, the dating would depend. I mean, the calendar doesn't change the fact of how old something is. It only gives the reference point. The calendar is just like, you can measure a distance in centimeters if you want, or in inches if you want, or in meters if you want, or in kilometers if you want. You can use any measure you want. But the measure is the same. As long as you know how the conversion works, you know the detail, as long as you give the measure in one unit. My point is to say that Sanatana Dharma is ageless and therefore I can't give you a date is ridiculous. We need to be able to give a date. Now, I completely understand you are saying there is a claim that there are multiple yugas and that, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, I don't know how you'd like to place this in relation to the yugas and so on. My point is, regardless of what system of measuring time that you use, you need to give details without which
I'm giving you have to listen to, because we have limited time of 10 minutes.
Johnny, please. Sorry, are you saying you're going to give in the future? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm going to give. You have to listen.
And that is what I asked you right away. Please go on. Unfortunately, I only can give you 8 more minutes.
I can give you in 5 minutes. I can just give you in 5 minutes.
Please. Please stay focused. The question is very simply, maybe take the example of Ramayana alone if you're familiar with Ramayana, or if you're not familiar with Ramayana, you want to go with Mahabharata, that's fine. But please take one of them. Don't wander away to Harappa, Ajanta, because the question is this: stay focused and give me some details. We have limited time. Thank you.
See, I'll right away I will give you the answer. There is no date. Okay, there is no date, or I can never give you a date, because you and me are human beings. We are limited by our lives. We are born, we die. You are born, you die. Every human being who is born, he will die. Gods will never die. God is something eternity. And gods you can't measure with dates, with the limited brain of human beings. The limited brain of human beings will form a framework called as religion and put some prophets in it and put some gods in it. But you cannot. Hinduism is an eternal
Johnny,
concept.
I'll stop you there, brief.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't understand the subject. Please let
I
me try.
understand the subject.
Johnny, one
I
second.
just
One,
wanted to
let me
finish. I
clarify.
want to finish.
One second. No, please. I'm not interested in some sort of let me clarify, Johnny, please. I don't want to come across rude. Let me clarify. Look,
Yeah.
today in human history we have this literature called Ramayana. In human history we have this.
Yes.
Whether it came from gods or not is not the question that I'm asking. Whether it came from some eternal dimension into human dimension, that's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, within human history, where can we date this to? Because within human history, whether it existed elsewhere or not, within human history, it clearly has come in at some stage in history. Anything which is part of human history should be datable. And this is simple principle. If you don't understand the simple principle, it'll be I don't know how to help you
No,
in
no,
this.
no, no.
In
Let me give you
Johnny,
one more time. One more
Johnny,
time,
please.
please.
1 second. Let me finish this and then you go on.
Yeah.
In human history, we have Ramayana. In
Yes.
human history, can you give me the date as to when Ramayana came in, please?
Human history, Ramayana is not there. First of all, Ramayana is a text written by human beings about gods. But various studies, including Buddhist texts, Christian studies, means studies in Christian universities, Western perspective, Western philosophers, they put the date somewhere around 600, before 600 AD, or sometime after 4000 BC and sometime before 600 AD. 600 BC and 4000 AD. Some various studies point to this period. Now, there is no clear evidence. There are cities, Ayodhya, there are cities, Kurukshetra, there are so many cities, Kurukshetra in Mahabharata. All these things which are depicted, which are mentioned in Ramayana or Mahabharata are there. Gods,
Where are they?
billions, they are in
Where
India.
are they?
They are
Where
in India.
Kurukshetra? Where is Kurukshetra? Where?
Kurukshetra is near Delhi. Hastinapura, which is the capital of Pandavas, is nothing but Delhi. And Ramayana is followed in Thailand, is followed in Vietnam, is followed in Indonesia, and all these countries where it spread to.
Johnny, please.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not asking you to give me the claims.
I'm not saying
read.
claims. All those texts in those religions, they point to some dates. And as I told you, the dates are between 700 AD, 700 BCE to 4000 BCE. This is what I can say.
Yeah. So
That is as per Western perspective of defining history, not the Eastern perspective or Oriental perspective. Okay? This is Western perspective.
I can't, Johnny, please. I can't believe, I
Yes.
simply can't believe the level of ridiculousness in what you have just last said. I can't believe. And I don't want to insult you in this. I really want to point out to a simple problem. I don't know where this I don't know what is this. This is according to Western history, not according to Indian history. Look, time is time. Western world did not introduce the notion of times. No one in the West, no Isaac Newton or no one created time. Time is there as part of creation that we in India experience and people in the West experience too. I am, of course, in the West right now. I used to be in India. Time is experienced by anyone across the planet. This is not a Western thing versus Eastern thing. And in time, you can measure and date things. And all that I've asked for is to date the text of Ramayana. And
I've given you the date, right?
you also gave me an indoctrinated statement at the end saying this is according to Western, not Indian time. I don't know why you said that.
No, because we have our own calendar. You have your own calendar. And one more thing, I just wanted to ask one question. See,
No.
according to
No,
this
before
is
we
very
go on to
important. This very
before we go on to
important.
anything else, before we go on to anything else, can I please now confirm that you haven't given any details in relation to how to arrive at any date so far? Can I please confirm that that is what has happened?
I told you, gods will not have dates. They are eternal. They are not human.
Look, I am in history. I don't know why you're getting confused. I'm not talking about gods right now.
Yeah, they are gods. Rama is a god according to Hinduism.
Are you, Johnny? I can't believe I'm talking about the text called Ramayana.
Ramayana
Do
is
you
written
believe?
yeah.
Do you believe that in human history there was the introduction of this text called Ramayana? Do you
Yes,
understand the
yes.
simple statement?
Valmiki
All
wrote
that I'm
Ramayana.
finding, all that I'm trying to find out is when did that happen?
In 300 AD, 300 BC, Valmiki
And therefore,
wrote
don't talk
Ramayana.
about gods and so on. I'm purely talking about when this literature
Yeah,
came to the awareness of
it is
human
about
beings.
gods.
That's all.
It is about gods.
Johnny,
Yeah.
whether it is about gods, whether it is about robots, not the question at hand. The question at hand is when did it become available to human beings? That's a simple
300
question
BC,
I'm asking.
300 BC, Valmiki said.
Sure. That is the simple answer. I don't know why you want to desperately go on to gods immediately. I don't see the reason
I
at
wanted
all.
to differentiate between Abrahamic religions and
Hey,
Oriental religions.
wow. You haven't differentiated anything. You have demonstrated the fact of your desperation, not any. You haven't
It's not
offered
my
it.
desperation. You are
Please.
desperate in finding evidences.
Johnny,
I
you
am
need to stay
not.
focused. Johnny, please. You need to stay focused. So, in relation to Ramayana, sorry, I have muted you. You can unmute anytime you want. But if you are going to not engage in a productive conversation, I will be removing you. My
Yeah, you
point
can
very
remove
simple.
me. My
Johnny,
simple
please.
point.
I'm trying. No, I don't want to. Please. So,
Yeah.
whether it comes from God or not is not the question at hand. The question at hand is in human history, when did Ramayana become available? That's the only question. I'd like to find out that first. And there, if all that you're saying is 300 BC,
Yeah.
I'm happy. That's the date I have. That's fine. No problem at all. So we can confirm between us and for those who are watching that clearly you haven't attempted to give an early, 4,000, 9,000, 10,000 BC sort of dates.
No, I
That's
said
all
a
I wanted to
date.
say.
I just wanted to clarify. I told it is mentioned in Buddhist texts also, which is pre 600 BCE. But as per many of the studies, they point this Valmiki's Ramayana, which is the main source of Ramayana. It came into like more popular like during Aryan period. Somewhere during that time, it came into the public. General public started recognizing it. But it existed much before. Even Buddhist suttas, the Buddhist sacred texts, which spread to Southeast Asian countries also, they also mention Hindu gods, including Maheshwara, including Rama. The king of Thailand is called as Rama. So they mention it. So the tradition is there across these countries, but because Hindus do not have a written kind of, they have oral traditions, they have Guru Shishya Parampara. So they do not pinpoint to certain, texts or dates. So that's the whole thing.
Sure. Johnny, you're giving me a lot of claims here. I need to wrap up here. Can I please suggest to you in the future, when you come on board, the kinds of details you need to be looking at for us to have a meaningful conversation?
We can't have meaningful conversation because we don't compare apples and oranges. Simple. You are comparing
Johnny,
apples and oranges.
To have a meaningful conversation, when I speak, you should be listening.
Yes.
And you shouldn't be making random comments.
No, I'm not doing random comments. I'm just trying to listen to you, trying to convince you that your finding of this evidence thesis is a big, I don't think that is the right way to, compare between religions. Because according to Christianity, who all are we people? We are non-believers of Christianity. So where do we go? We go to our own heaven and you go to your own heaven? It's not like that. See, God is created. God created man. We agree.
At some stage, I'm hoping that you will stop.
Yeah, I will stop now and I will listen to you. Tell me.
Sure. Thank you. We have it it's not just because it's my, that's not the reason, Johnny. We have a topic at hand. Unless we can have a deep conversation about the topic at hand, we are merely having a chit chat, which I'd like to have with you if we did have some free time later
I
on.
agree. I agree. Thank you.
The topic
Really.
at hand is the crucial thing. Please, the topic at hand does not require any special remarks on what is apple, what is orange. We have agreed human history is common. Time is common for the Western world, for the Eastern world. Time is common. I don't know why you wanted to bring in this idea of the apples, oranges. This is how you see the. I don't know where you get this desperation from. My question was very simple. Give me a date. If you had wanted to use, if you're, and that is all that you should have done. I don't know why you are desperate to comment on anything else. I really don't know. You tried to give me a date. The date you gave me was 300 BC, but then you went on to say that the Buddhist text also talk about Hindu gods, and therefore it needs to be before 300 BC. I'll challenge you that Buddhism can't be dated pre around 300 BC too. I'll challenge you. So I don't know why you wanted to make a loose remark and stop there. So Johnny, I really need to move on. Johnny, I really need to move on. Can I please suggest next time when you jump on board, please focus on this. Your argument was around Buddhism using Hindu deities. Can you please bring on board reasoning based on that, evidence based on that, as to why and where Ramayana could be dated using Buddhist texts in your mind to pre. If you're going to argue for 7,000 BC, 8,000 BC, how you get that? How you get there? That's what I'd really like to find out. I'm looking forward to speaking to you later and having a meaningful engagement. But you need to stay focused, please. Question at hand is very important. Thank you very much, Johnny. Johnny,
thank you. I don't have any comments. Whatever I have told, what I have said, I've said. You also need to do some research before making.
I have done my research. No, please. I have done my research. Don't worry. I have done my research. Don't worry. Please don't. I am asking you for details.
You are asking me about my religion, which is sanctimonious to me. My God is sanctimonious to me, and you can't just ask me what is the evidence for my God. And 1.2 billion people in the world who are following Hinduism. There is an evidence.
Johnny, there are timelines. Johnny, please. What was the question? Did I ask you give me evidence where your God is?
Why are you asking dates? That is an evidence. Date is nothing but an evidence.
If you're not interested, you don't have to come on board at all.
No.
I didn't ask you to jump on board and then now complain that I even asked you the question. If you're not interested, please don't come on board. Please don't complain. Please don't have the cake and want to eat it too. Don't do that.
No.
Either you are interested in having
chat with you. I would love to chat with you again. I'll come with more evidences. We'll have a very constructive
and
discussion.
Stay focused. Don't throw accusations, please.
No, I'm not throwing accusations. I just wanted to say that let us have a constructive discussion. And if you want to know more about Hinduism, I'll give you more information. Right.
Look, I'm not looking for more information. I'm looking for.
I want to convert you to Hinduism. I would love you to join Hinduism and find evidences for us.
Please, absolutely, and that is exactly what that is the mindset I'd like you to have. Yeah. Give me information enough to an extent where I'd like to think, hey, I am on the wrong side. Let me change over.
Absolutely,
yeah. Johnny, it's lovely to see you today. I need to quickly move on, but lovely to see you today. Please, I'll be looking forward to catching up with you later. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. God's blessings. Bye. Dylan, how are you doing? Dylan, you're on mute. Can you please unmute yourself and speak?
Hi, hello.
Hello, how are you doing? I can hear you right now. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, by God's grace, okay. Are you based in the UK, Dylan, somewhere, or where are you based?
I'm based in Canada.
Oh, you are in Canada, okay.
Yes.
And what's the time there? It's midday for you, around midday?
Midday, yes.
Yeah. Lovely to see you. Dylan, please go ahead. So I can see you have a middle name Nirmal. I'm assuming you have adopted Hinduism in some way, shape, or form, I'm assuming.
No, actually, I have an interesting background. I was born into this Hindu, I don't know if you call it cult, religion, Hare Krishnas. right?
Yep.
Their leader came to the U.S. in the 60s, and my parents joined. They were both college students in upstate New York, Buffalo to be exact. My mom was from Brooklyn, and my dad was from Buffalo, right? And so they joined. My dad was from a Catholic background. My mom was from a Jewish background, and they were against the Vietnam War, whatever reasoning. They ended up joining this Hindu guru, right? And they quickly abandoned their parents. He convinced them to completely abandon their family. He convinced them that all of their past background and any knowledge, quote unquote, that they had was irrelevant to the study of God, that he was representing a direct line from God, right? And that therefore they could trust everything he said. He translated the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. He wrote all these books down, right? So I was raised in Vrindavan. I spent like 6 years of my childhood there, in a school there, like a boarding school. And so I was raised in ashrams in different parts of the U.S. and Canada, and then in India. They had instituted a school system in the United States, but it soon became apparent to the government through grandparents and so forth that were unallowed to have access to their grandchildren and family members, that it became evident that the government started to poke around. So then they sent us all to India, where there was no investigation into the child welfare, right? In terms of the school that we were at, it was just, and there was a lot of abuse that went on. It wasn't, they don't want to talk about it now because that's the Holy Land, right? And they don't want to talk about sexual abuse, physical abuse, stuff that went on at that school, So anyway, I do have a deep knowledge of. We had to wake up every day at 4. We had to do the Mangal Arti. We had to do the Tulsi Arti. We had a Bhagavatam lecture every single day. No days off. And then we had a guru worship astakam. We had so we had, that by the time we ate anything, it was like 7, 8 a.m. Imagine that, since 5 years old, doing that, and it's very hard to wake up every day at 3:30 a.m. And if you didn't, you'd get food. It was all to make us renounced, to make us detached, correct, from the material world, right? So and I learned a lot about and when I grew up, I left. I didn't leave because I rejected the philosophy. I left because I wanted to explore what I had been like hidden. I didn't know. I wanted to see what other ways of thinking were, other ideas. So and then I eventually, through life experiences, discovered that praying to the gods that I had prayed to, they didn't come up with any. It was difficult to pray. For instance, for example, it was difficult to pray because anyway.
Sorry, Dylan, I'm still listening. Please go on.
That's okay. So no, it was just the praying. I found there wasn't it. Maybe it was because of my background, and I don't know. I could come up with a lot of explanations for why I didn't find a connection with. Well, first of all, those gurus I found as a little kid. I was always looking at them, thinking, and I had a scientific question. Boom, you would just get stomped down. Like you're asking, how old is it? Can you show me a date? Don't ask questions. Stay in line. Listen to the guru. The guru knows what he's talking about. That kind of thing, right? Like, it's in the scriptures. It's in the Vedas. It's in the Ramayana. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Like, it's infallible. It's absolute truth. right? This is what we were pinned down with all the time. So scientific questions were not allowed. And you know, it was a stifling environment. That was one of the reasons I left. As soon as I went to college, the first thing I did was go to university and took all general education, because we had basically been limited. I learned Sanskrit. I learned from when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, I know the alphabet, and I still can speak Hindi to a degree and understand it a good amount from living in India. Uh, and yeah, so we had a deep, like, I learned the Hindu scriptures before I learned any science or you know, and then when we went to university, like I said, biology, chemistry, whatever I could get, geography, geology. I just took all the courses that I possibly could to try to give myself a background in all that, because I'm not saying my schooling was representative of what they would have taught in India. I think it was particularly they would have been better off hiring some Indians to manage the school. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. And you know, if you have questions, I'm more than happy.
No,
to talk.
thank you very much for joining today, Dylan. I completely hear what you're saying. I know of sort of a number of similar experiences, especially in the West. You know, of people going through such sort of environment and getting frustrated because basic questions aren't addressed at all. You're not even allowed to ask questions, and people are allowed to people are supposed to take these gurus as sacrosanct before even you can check if you can depend on them. At the least, the very minimum is that you need to have some mechanism by which you can say, hey, actually it's true, this guy knows his stuff, I better listen to him. You need to have some basic way of coming to that place, where the person, whoever wants to commit his life to that system of living, can use that way of exploring to come to that conclusion. And after that, it's his business. Who am I to comment on that? And so but when that doesn't happen, that's I can, and that is why I'm asking these questions. I'm trying to find what somehow you need to provide some way of coming to the conclusion that this is believable or trustable. And I'm a Christian, and I
Yes,
can provide
I've recently become Christian as well.
Oh, you have? That's wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah, praise the Lord. That's
yes.
really marvelous to. And this is where I can, as you would have found out, with Christianity, with Jesus Christ, actually you have complete liberty. No one is going to. But I'm not saying there aren't some cults which use the name of Jesus Christ. There could be, but at least the mainstream, what is supposed to be the historical Christianity, you're supposed to act. You can be with Jesus Christ, still not be a Christian. And this is why Jesus asked Peter, who do you think I am? He was with Jesus for a couple of years, yet Jesus is still giving the liberty to make up his mind on his own and then to let him know. So that is what, unfortunately, I'd really like to find out if on the Indian religion side, we can have this sort of conversations to try and get here. It's lovely, Dylan. I'm really, really glad to have listened from you. I'm really glad that you have become a Christian recently also.
Yeah,
Dylan, I'd really like to go on.
Some reasons why I did try to go back to Hinduism when I started to feel a need for prayer and spirituality and things. And yeah, I did go back to it, but then I started reading the Bible, and I started more to find out my own history, because we had been barred from really, like my own family background, where are they from, what's the ancestry, what's the culture there that I might have been exposed to. So I started researching Judaism, basically to understand my Israeli background, my background, my Jewish background, and that was what introduced me to to Christianity, actually, which is interesting.
That's
And
that's that.
one more thing I'll leave you with is just the difference between, say, Krishna and Rama and say Christ. I would say there's a lot of similarities in those character types, but there's a lot of differences too. Christ, the whole story, and I'm new at this, so you know I've had to shift both my parents are still Hindu, so I still I got to deal with that, right? And like the difference, the Christ, from the moment he came to the moment he left, or he lived with the same words, the same principles, the same integrity. He never lied. He never veered from it. If you look at the story of Krishna, he's royalty. He's killing people. He's having a sex life. He's having it's not somebody you can exactly pray to and feel like he's going to pay attention to you. Like, he didn't live his life to dedicate it to us, not by any means, and you're supposed to just just throw your life at him and just and expect whatever he'll give to you, right? And it's not the same as with Christ. It's a healing. He directly has a relationship with you. So yeah, that would just leave with
Yeah,
that
absolutely. I completely understand, Alan. So essentially, your point is that there is no hypocrisy. There is a character with holiness and dedication, and he means business, and he means exactly business. You can see
what
godliness.
Yes.
Yeah. But with Krishna, like you rightly said, it's all over the place. You don't know what is good, what is bad, what is going on, and it doesn't come across as he's really concerned about you as an individual from the bottom of his heart or anything like this. So no, I'm absolutely, Dylan, I'm really, really privileged to have run into you.
Thank you. For you. I was looking for someone like you, and I found it.
Yes, absolutely. Dylan, I'd really like to be friends with you. Could you please email me? I'll bring up, and it'll be lovely to stay in touch. I'd really like to, have a Zoom conversation with you and whatever else. And then, so the email is up here.
I see it.
Do you see the email? Yeah. If you could email, and maybe at the same time also maybe in the private chat, or maybe just the email. If you can email me, please. I'd really,
I will.
Really would like to have a conversation with you and take our friendship forward.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but it's lovely to see you here. I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes with. There are two other gentlemen who are in the backstage.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll just get them on stage. You can remain here if you want. Let me just quickly get them on stage. Just 2 minutes and 3 minutes. Satya, I'm going to get you on board. You are saying you just need 3 minutes. So I'm going to get you on board for 3 minutes, literally 3 minutes. I know I have another session at in 54 minutes before which I need to have my supper and another break and a little bit of family time and so on. So literally 3 minutes. Satya, you're going to be brought on stage, and I'm interested in finding an early date for Ramayana. If you have any evidence for an early date, Satya. Hello. Satya?
Can you hear me?
I can, but your voice is a little bit. There's a little bit of noise, electronic noise.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, your audio isn't great, Satya. I think if you want to jump out and come back, let me get Subhash just for 2 minutes. If you want to jump out and come back.
Okay.
Satya, I've removed you from stage because I know I couldn't hear anything. If you want to jump off and come back, you could have 3 minutes, but I've removed you from stage. Please jump out and come back in. Let me bring Subhash in. Subhash, hello.
Hey. Hi, Arul.
Hey, how are you doing?
Glad to talk to you. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. So, really.
I saw you, of course, your messages in the past too. Lovely to have you here. Subhash, we literally have maybe 2 or 3 minutes for you. Please go ahead. Do you have any evidence for the early date of Ramayana?
Okay, Arul. So here the thing is, I think I would also disappoint you in the point that you are looking for from, and I think you are getting disappointed from everyone who you have asked this question, and that is going to happen. You are not going to get this answer of the precise date when the Ramayana was actually, or when the Ramayana happened. When was the Ram just the exact era or the dates? So, and that region is, I just want to go beyond of that, the concept, just 1 minute, I won't take much time. Here, only one analogy I would just like to give here, place here, just for your the understanding. I am not answering only you, but to everyone who is listening me, and I know it will be a voice to a lot of people. So, I see what you are actually right now when you are comparing Hinduism with every other Abrahamic religion. It's like you have a sort of meter or some sort of uh, dimensions that you are looking for, and you are trying to fix that religion in those parameters. And I want to tell you, Hinduism won't fit inside those parameters. It's
Subhash,
out of
let me
those.
stop you
Yeah.
there. Subhash, let
Yeah.
me
Sorry.
stop you there. Let me
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
me stop you there briefly. Let me put it this way. Do you
Yeah.
believe you use any calendar you want? I'm going by the Gregorian calendar. Let me give you some years according to Gregorian calendar. You can use your own Indian calendar if you want, but please answer my question. Do you believe that we have had something called 500 BC?
500 BC. There is something you can say 5 lakh BC also that was there.
Yeah. So let me take one step at a time. So you believe in
Yeah.
the historical point called 500 BC in time,
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
and
Sure.
there is the historical point called 1000 BC, 2000
Yeah.
BC, 4000 BC, 6000 BC, 10,000 BC. Yeah, you
Yeah.
agree with all of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Getting your point. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what religion will follow. This is time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that I'm asking is, can you provide any evidence to take Ramayana back, let's say as far as 10,000 BC? This has nothing to do with religion. This has nothing to do with whether we're talking from an European perspective, a white perspective, an Indian perspective. This is ridiculous. This is irrelevant. I don't know where this mindset is even coming. I don't know where you're getting this idea from. We are talking about time. Time is common. Now, I completely understand. And that is why I want you to focus on the topic at hand. I completely understand that you may say that Ramayana predates even 10,000 BC by maybe 10 million years. You may say that, but that's not what I'm asking. I am saying sorry, let me be clear here. You may say that Ramayana actually predates even linear time as we understand and goes into some other different kind of timeline you have in mind, different kind of dimensions you have in mind. That is not my question. My question is, with the time that we have today, how early can you trace it back? If you can't trace it back to pre 300 BC, then we can give up. This entire idea that this came from some previous Yuga is ridiculous, because you can't even date it to 5000 BC. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when you say if it's not traced up to any of the specific date, then it needs to be give up. We do not need to do not need to believe it. But that's not the thing. Here
No,
the
no,
point is,
the point wasn't about whether we believe it or not. No one is so far commenting on the belief on it. We are only trying to find out the date for it. My point simply would be, if I can't date the material, whether in oral form or in written form, pre 500 BC, if I can't date it, then I am depending on wishful thinking, not dependable reasoning, in saying that these are very old literature. And this is not a Western comment that I'm making. I am a Tamil. I very much think like a Tamil in many different ways. I am making a very sincere Tamil comment here.
Okay,
So
I know, Arul. Arul,
so here is
I'm
my,
getting your point, and I'm very much
yeah,
clear
please.
what your question is. Yes,
Yes,
yes, I'm
please.
clear.
Subhash,
And
maybe I need to stop. Subhash, one second. I need to stop here. What I'd recommend is next Thursday, if you can please come on board right at the start. But
sure,
please
sure.
focus on the question. Don't be focused on anything else. They are irrelevant. We have
I
human
know.
history. In human history, let's say we agree that at least as far as 10,000 BC, we can agree on, maybe 15,000 BC. Please bring me evidence, whether in oral form or written form, somehow, whether in oral form or written form, if you can demonstrate that Ramayana was there much earlier than 500 BC, I am really keen to see how you get that idea. That's what I'm keen. And this has nothing to do with Western Abrahamic, nothing to do with that. That is all red herring. Please ignore the red herring and you can stay focused. Can I please invite you to join next week, Subhash? I really have to
Sure.
move to Satya right now.
Would
But lovely
yeah,
speaking to you today.
definitely. Sure. Thank you.
Lovely speaking today. God's blessings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Pleased
See you
to
later.
talk to you. Yes. See you.
Yeah, bye.
Am I audible?
Satya, you literally have 2 minutes.
Okay, am I audible?
The audio is much better right now. The audio is
Am I
much
audible?
better right now. Please. You are
Am I audible?
Satya. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Am I audible?
Satya, I can hear you. Of course,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So
Please,
let me start from
what's the date for Ramayana? What's
See,
the
this is
evidence
not
for
how-
an early date for Ramayana?
Yeah, I'm just telling. Let's start from the Mahabharata. You asked the first. Let me give the date and all the stuff about that. Later, I will come further on. Okay, sir. So
No, we have literally 2 minutes. Literally 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Just
yeah.
2 minutes would be sufficient. It would be sufficient. So the archaeological survey. Okay, the B.B. Lal is the archaeologist. Okay, and about the recent evidence that would have been found from where? From the Haryana. Haryana is the patch which is found in the northern patch of India. I think you would be familiar. Where the excavation has taken place, and what exactly that has proven, I can make in very confidentially, in a very straightforward manner. There are two fundamental things that we have to understand when it comes about the archaeological survey, and before the BC or before the 1000 BC or near about the Vedic age that we call it. Then you will always get there is a fluctuation of 500 to 700 year to get the exact date that what is exactly that year. Okay, that can be found in the different tactics. Let me give the tactics what really they follow in order to reach at the point of conclusion that what is really that date. So what when the BB Lal said that age is between the 2300 to 15 middle of the 1500 BC, that was not exactly specific date because when it's come about, because that is dependent for the archaeological survey that I talks about. The second that you talks about the Ramayana. So let me make one thing clear. When we do the comparative study between the Abrahamic religion and the religion of the Eastern world, the very fundamental difference is that initially we are following the oral tradition. Later, the evidence of writing task happened. We have to think when the task of writing happened. That was 2nd to 3rd century BC, when the task of writing happened in whole over the universe. The survivability of any text is not possible in the Eastern world because we live in the tropical world. But it is too possible to survive in the Western world like the Europe, because any text can survive more than thousands of years old if that you are keeping in the polar region. But it cannot survive more than thousands of years if this
Satya,
is being.
Satya, I need to stop you there. Satya, I need to stop you there. Can I please request you to join next Thursday? And I'd really like for us to go through things slowly. And we'll try and see.
I was lacking the time. That's all. The very fundamental reason why I was trying to speak in.
No problem at all. But I'd really like for you to join next Thursday. But try and join as early as you can. We start at 5 p.m. London time, which is 9:30 India time. Please join as soon as you can. So I'd really like to hear you are able to at least present some coherent statements, and you're able to focus on the subject at hand. So I'd really like to have a meaningful conversation with you as early as you can. But while a little bit of food for thought between now and next week is to claim that in tropical climate you can't preserve is absurdity. You just need to go
No,
to
this is
Egypt.
not, sir. This is a,
Whoa,
no,
whoa,
this
whoa,
is
Satya,
scientific.
please. Satya, please.
Yeah.
So this is just a food for thought. In Egypt, which has dry and arid climate most of the year, we have some of the well-preserved texts in the entire Indian, in the entire world history. We have some tremendously significant texts preserved in Egypt. So please don't give any excuse. But that's one.
Sorry, sir.
Number two
You are giving wrong information.
number two
That
is
scripture. That
Satya.
is a
Number two,
scripture. It's
Satya. Number
yeah.
two. No. I'm talking about written, not rock inscription. I'm talking about a book, writing in the book form. I can give you precise details next week
What
if
is
you want.
age? What is age? What is age?
I'll come to that later. My point very simply is to preservation of text is very much possible. Now my second point is very simply, even if you are going to claim that there was an oral tradition, even for an oral tradition, we need to have some evidence. You can't just
Next week. I will next week. Okay.
Next week.
Yeah.
So it'll be lovely to hear from
Yeah.
you next week, Satya. You're a lovely man.
Okay.
You come across really nice, and everyone, as a matter of fact, today have been really nice. Has been a pleasure and privilege speaking to my fellow Indians. So it's a pleasure always. So let's speak next week, Satya. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, God's blessings. Speak to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Same.
Bye. Cool, lovely friends, and this is an exciting period we are in. Of course, we are merely in week 4 in this special series where we started devoting some time to Indian religions in a special stream. I'm really looking forward to some meaningful conversations in the future. Lovely people have showed up in the stream so far, and I'm looking forward to taking this further in the future. Ultimately, we are all traveling together. As fellow human beings. Of course, in my case, between you and me, as fellow Indians with most of the people, we are all traveling together. We want to find out where evidence leads us. I am a Christian. I sincerely believe that only in Jesus Christ we have the evidence needed to demonstrate that Jesus is God. He is the one who created us, and he is the only one who has a plan for us in eternity. Only through Jesus' cross we have a meaningful way of getting back to him. This is my conclusion. If anyone wants to ask questions on my conclusion, tomorrow, Friday, 8 p.m. London time, which is 12:30. It's a little bit late for people who are based in India, but I'm hoping that you'd at least watch the recordings from the conversation there. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, you can shoot an email and we can take that up in the stream. But please note carefully, please tell me why you are unable to join the streams. Just tell me it's too late for you or something, and then we'll take it up on the stream. Ideally, if you join the stream, it'll be lovely to have the conversation. So I'd like to wrap things up here. Lovely speaking to you all. I am a Christian. I'd like to invite you all to Jesus Christ, the only way to eternity with God. God of the Bible is triune, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Only in him you have philosophical, historical, theological consistency, coherence, and comprehensiveness. I'd like to invite you all to Jesus Christ. God's blessings to you all. Let me finish with a word of prayer. Father, we come before your throne of grace. Lord, I can't remember the name of every person who jumped on the stream today. Thank you for everyone. Pray for your rich blessings to be upon everyone. Lord, we pray that through your spirit, despite our differences in opinion with most, Dylan, of course, is a Christian today, but with the others, Lord, we pray that through your spirit, we might be able to have friendly conversations, that we can walk together to see where we can, as fellow human beings, and in many cases, fellow Indians, Lord, go to in terms of understanding details of who created us and what eternity holds for us, and how to arrive at the right place in terms of eternity. Lord, help us, we pray. Command all things in your hands. Pray for your rich blessings to be upon everyone. Thank you. In Jesus' precious name we pray, Lord. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Lovely speaking to you all. God's blessings. Catch up with everyone on the next stream, which is in about half an hour. God's blessings. Bye-bye. Who's this?